Alright, so we're back over here. Let me show you what we're going to do. We're going to work on the bottom part right here. If I zoom into the image, we need to basically create this bottom section, these details in the wood, these panels over here on the sides, and this bottom section that's right here you can see in the image. So let me go ahead and start to do that. I'm going to go to edge mode. I'm going to select this edge here. I'm going to go ahead and select the ring all the way around, and I'm going to connect this one time. I'm going to move this down. Now I know at the bottom is at 0 in the z-axis. So if I go ahead and look at my transform tool here, I'm going to go ahead and place this at about 6 inches. And the reason I'm doing that is, let me show you why. If I look at the image, I have this bottom section right here. See this bottom board, the baseboard sort of piece there that goes in the bottom of the furniture. That looks like it's about 6 inches in height, so I'm going to go with about 6 inches for that. Okay. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to select these two polygons and these two polygons on the other side. I'm going to use the extrude tool, and I'm going to extrude that out about 1 inch on the local normal and hit OK. Now the same problem happened as before. If I go to the top view and look at this very quickly, you can see that there's an angle there. It didn't extrude it properly. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is pretty simple. You probably guessed it. I'm going to select that polygon, go to the align tool, and align that in the X. I'm going to take this one and this one in the front, align that in the Y, take that one and align him in the X, and those are good to go. Okay. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to select that edge and that edge right there on top of those little pieces that I created. Okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take those edges and I'm just going to move them down a little bit like this, just to add a little bit of detail right there. See that? Looks pretty good when it gets rendered out. Okay. Right. Now with that done, let's go ahead and create the details that we need to create here. So let me go to polygon mode and select these two polygons right there. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to try to create, see these details right here on the side panels right there of the little column piece. We're going to go ahead and try to create that. So the way that we're going to do this is pretty simple. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use the bevel tool here. I'm going to bevel it out to about this much is good, just a little bit, just eyeball it is perfectly fine. And the outline amount is pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. I'm going to hit OK. With those polygons still selected, I'm going to continue to use different tools. I'm going to be using extrude, bevel, and inset. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the inset tool, and I'm going to bevel that a little bit like this. So I'm just eyeballing it to something that looks pretty good, and that looks pretty good to me. So I'm going to hit OK. I'm going to use the bevel tool again. This time I'm going to bevel into the geometry bit, like so. Okay, I'll hit OK. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to inset again to about maybe this much. Looks pretty good. Okay, I'll hit OK. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to bevel again. This time I'm going to pull the bevel outward like this and hit OK. I'm going to look at this this object here. Maybe push those. Now I'm just being really picky, so I'm just going to leave that alone, or else I'll sit there wasting a lot of time. So if I render that out, that's what I end up with, which looks pretty cool. Okay, next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do a similar thing over here, because if I look at the image, we also have a similar type pattern. It's a little bit different, but it's similar right here in the middle. We have these two panels right here in the center. Okay, so let's go ahead and create that. So how can we do that? Well, I'm going to take this polygon that's right here in the middle, and I'm just going to take the extrude tool here, and I'm going to extrude it into the geometry about maybe an inch, something like that, maybe a little bit more, and I'll hit OK. All right. Now go to edge mode and I'll select this bottom edge from the new area that I just created, and the top edge right there. Okay. And I'm going to connect that one time straight down the middle and hit OK. Now I'm going to go to polygon mode and make sure both of these polygons are selected. And with these polygons selected, I'm going to go to the inset tool. And I'm going to make sure that I do not inset by group. I'm going to inset by polygon so it makes them separate. See that? Now I'm going to inset a little bit more, something closer to an inch. Okay. I'm going to hit OK. Now if these polygons selected, I'm just going to use the bevel tool, and I'm going to use the same technique that I used previously, all right, to create basically these details here. So I'll bevel this out, hit OK. Maybe I'll use the inset tool, inset that a bit, maybe about an inch, something like that. Hit OK. Maybe I'll use the bevel tool again. This time I'll bevel it inside, like so. Hit OK. Maybe I'll inset again. About this much is fine. Maybe this time I will bevel again. Maybe inward. Inward looks pretty good actually. I like that. I'll hit OK. Now maybe I'll use the inset tool. We go to the inset options. Inset that guy one more time. Hit OK. And then maybe I'll use the bevel tool one last time. And pull it outward. Like so. Maybe give it more of an outline amount. Hit OK. Render that out. And that's what I've got. Looks pretty good. Looks pretty similar to the image. Again, the image is there as a rough reference. We're not trying to do everything exactly as the image. Okay, so that looks pretty good. So that bottom detail, I'm going to say, is pretty much done. All right, so I'm happy with it so far. Let's go ahead and let's work on the moldings up here. But you know what? I think I'm going to leave the moldings for the next video. I'm going to look at my image here real quick and see if there's any other details here that I may have missed. And looks pretty good. I got the bottom done. I got this part done. The little divider piece down here done. I got these side column things done. This area is pretty much complete. Of course, we haven't done the shelves. We'll do that later. Pretty much what I'm going to work on next is the moldings up there. So I'm going to go ahead and save this out. Make sure you're saving your work, by the way, as you follow along. And in the next video, we'll continue working on this. We're going to focus on the moldings up here.